Soviet scientists' gruesome experiments on human-monkey crossbreeding. The hero of Bulgakov's fantastic novel, Professor Preobrazhensky, created his name and had the opportunity to fare well in Soviet Russia thanks to the rejuvenation of wealthy people. To do this, depending on the sex, he used the testes or ovaries of monkeys. However, around the same years that the novel was being written, a much bolder experiment was being conducted in the country. Ilya Ivanovich Ivanov was attempting to cross a hybrid of these mammals. By 1924, Mr. Ivanov had made a name for himself in the scientific world for his experiments in breeding animal hybrids. Almost everyone knows that crossing a donkey and a mare can give birth to mules, animals characterized by great strength and a long, up to 40 years life expectancy. True, almost always mules are infertile, but the advantages of their breeding, maintenance, and use outweigh this inconvenience. Ilya Ivanov went much further than homegrown farmers. He managed to cross with the production of offspring mice with rats and even guinea pigs, antelope and cow and bison, and some other animals. For Soviet Russia, Professor Ivanov was especially valuable as a scientist who perfected the procedure of artificial insemination, thanks to which one stallion could impregnate up to 500 mares per season, while the natural rate was reduced to 20-30 females. It was extremely important for the restoration of the horse population as a drought force of the country, and no one canceled the cavalry. In 1924, the scientist worked at the Pasteur Institute in Paris. It was within the walls of this scientific institution Ivanov repeated his own idea, expressed in 1910 in Graz, about crossbreeding humans with monkeys. Apparently, he was an eloquent man because soon permission was obtained to use the experimental station in Kindia, located in French Guinea. The experiment required money, so Ivanov began writing to Lunacharsky and other functionaries of the socialist state in Moscow. In September 1925, the USSR allocated $10,000 for the expedition. However, after arriving at Kindia in 1926, it was discovered that there were no sexually mature individuals. Baby chimpanzees were of no interest to the scientist, and he entered into correspondence with the local governor. Soon, Ivanov managed to obtain permission for experiments in the botanical garden of Konakry, the administrative center of the colony. The scientist's son, Ilya, also went there. With the help of residents of a nearby village, the scientist managed to capture a number of adult chimpanzees. More often than not, immature individuals were caught, but after a while the professor had up to 13 chimpanzees of both sexes suitable for experiments. On the last day of winter 1927, artificial insemination of 2 female chimpanzees took place, and on June 25 of the same year, another insemination took place. It is known that human donors were volunteers, but who exactly remained unknown. However, some researchers believe that it could be Ilya Ilyich Ivanov, who helped his father in his scientific experiments. Ivanov himself believed that he could succeed if he increased the number of inseminated individuals. He also thought that experiments with women should be tried. The scientist was sure that women from Africa, for this purpose, is quite suitable, but the French colonial government rejected this idea. Then Ivanov decided to return to the Soviet Union. Already in July 1927, it became known that none of the female chimpanzees became pregnant. However, Ivanov did not give up hope in the Soviet Union, and a primate station in Sukhumi was put at his disposal. To begin with, it was decided to select 5 women from among the volunteers. In 1929, suitable ladies were found. The NKVD knew how to get women to agree to many things in exchange for freedom, but at least one representative of the fair sex gave voluntary consent. At this crucial moment for Soviet science, fate dealt Professor Ivanov a mean blow in the back. Died the only male at the station capable of fertilization. The death of a sexually mature orangutan did not make the scientist give up. A batch of chimpanzees was ordered and delivered to Sukhumi in the summer of 1930. In the spring of 1930, the professor's life changed dramatically. He came under political criticism, and the subsequent purge led to his arrest in December 1930. There is a suggestion that he was trying to share his new developments with colleagues at the Pasteur Institute, and this was not forgiven in the Soviet Union. After the arrest, Ivanov received 5 years of exile, which he served in Alma-Ata. The scientist was not deprived of the title of professor and even allowed to teach at the local veterinary and zoological institute. Ilya Ivanov died in 1932 due to a stroke.